Did you know that a relational dynamic with a mother or father in childhood that includes emotional enmeshment is often found in the stories of those that engage in addiction, especially sex and pornography addictions? I'm Daniel, a licensed professional counselor, and on this episode of Bread Therapy, we're making a cream cheese coffee cake and talking about this relationship pattern that can affect and impact everything from your marriage to your parenting to even struggles with addiction. So what exactly is emotional enmeshment? Simply put, enmeshment happens when the emotional boundaries between family members become so blurred that individual identity gets lost. In an enmeshed family, there's an unspoken rule that everyone is responsible for everyone else's feelings, and individual needs are secondary to keeping the family system stable. Now, this isn't about families that are close or affectionate. Healthy families can be incredibly connected while still allowing each person to be their own individual. Enmeshment is different. It's when love gets confused with control and caring becomes a form of emotional obligation. Think of it like the dough that I'm working with. In healthy relationships, ingredients maintain their distinct properties while combining beautifully. But in enmeshment, everything gets so mixed together that you can't tell where one ingredient ends and another begins. Here are some signs that you might have grown up in an emotionally enmeshed family. Maybe your parents shared inappropriate emotional information with you as a child, where you had to almost become the family therapist or hear about marital problems or financial stress that wasn't your responsibility to carry. Or you felt responsible for your parents' happiness or your siblings' success. If mom was sad, it was somehow your job to fix it. If your brother was struggling, you felt guilty for your own achievements. Or decision-making always involved the entire family's feelings. Even as an adult, choosing a college or career path might have meant managing everyone else's emotional reactions rather than focusing on what was right for you. Now, here's what many people don't realize. Emotional enmeshment in childhood creates specific challenges in adult life that can seem completely unrelated. First, codependent relationships become almost inevitable. When you've been trained from childhood to prioritize others' emotions over your own needs, you naturally tend to gravitate towards relationships where you lose yourself. You might find yourself in romantic relationships where you're constantly managing your partner's moods, or friendships where you're always the giver but never the receiver. But the thing that might come as a surprise from the research of Jay Stringer is that emotional enmeshment is also strongly connected to unwanted sexual behaviors, including pornography and sex addiction. When someone grows up without clear emotional boundaries, they often struggle to develop healthy ways to self-soothe and manage their internal world. The same person who feels responsible for everyone else's emotions could find themselves turning to secretive sexual behaviors as one of the few areas where they feel they have complete control and can escape from the overwhelming responsibility that they carry for others. Dr. Rob Weiss says an addict will seek intensity when they really need comfort. So enmeshment becomes a preventative for seeking comfort, leading to patterns of finding the intensity of an experience to be more appealing and instinctual, when really they needed comfort. Unfortunately, the tragedy of enmeshment is how it can perpetuate itself. Adults who grew up enmeshed often become enmeshed parents themselves, even when they swore they'd do things differently. This could look like over-involving themselves in children's problems, struggling to let their kids fail and learn, or using their children as emotional support systems. Or swinging to the opposite extreme, they might become so afraid of enmeshment that they create walls instead of healthy boundaries, leaving children to feel maybe more emotionally abandoned rather than appropriately supported. Just like bread needs balance of ingredients, not too much flour to make it too dense, not too little structure that it falls apart, healthy families need a balance of connection and individuality. So how do you begin healing from emotional enmeshment? Here are a few starting points. First, start noticing your automatic responses. When someone in your family is upset, do you immediately feel responsible? When you're making a decision, do you automatically consider what everyone else's reaction or potential reaction might be before your own needs? Awareness is always step one. Second, practice what you can call emotional returning. When you catch yourself carrying someone else's emotions, consciously give them back. If it helps, you can literally visualize handing the feelings back to them. With love, saying to yourself, this belongs to you, not me. Third, start with small boundary setting. You don't have to revolutionize an entire family system overnight, but starting with minor things, maybe don't immediately respond to every text if it's not a true emergency, or make a decision without consulting the family committee. Fourth, develop your own internal compass. Enmeshed individuals often don't know what they actually want or need because they've been so focused on everyone else. Start asking yourself, what do I actually think about this? Or what would I choose if I only had to consider my own well-being? Healing from emotional enmeshment isn't about becoming selfish or cutting off your family, but about learning to love others from a place of choice rather than obligation, and developing the emotional boundaries that allow for genuine intimacy rather than codependent fusion. If any of this resonates with you, I'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments. And if you're looking for more content on building healthier relationships and understanding family patterns, make sure to subscribe for more bread therapy sessions. Until next time, if you want to hear more about dysfunctional family roles, watch this video here.